on the cake.
What if I told you that explosion was the point? This is the price of getting a kilogram of stuff into space. In 1981, it was over 54,000 per kilo. Today, SpaceX does it for under 1,500. That's not an improvement. That's 97% collapse. And it happened in 25 years. So how is SpaceX so efficient? Let's get into it. And yes, there's a lot to break down with Musk. Labor subsidies, but this is a video about the business side of things. How are they shipping rockets 10 times faster than anyone else? Here's the thing though, every other company is looking at SpaceX's playbook. Tons of interview, he's explaining on stage on how he does it, and nobody can do it. 3 things, that's it. 1, they make it themselves. 2, they fly constantly. 3, they reuse the hardware. Let me show you the numbers. And hold on to your screen, this gets stupid really fast. 1, vertical integration. About 70% of every SpaceX rocket is manufactured in-house. No vendors, no middlemen, no one saying, we'll get back to you in 6 months. Musk told Aviation Week in 2020 that the marginal cost to fly a reused Falcon 9 is around $15 million, most of which is just the new upper stage you have to build each time. Public price you have to pay for it, around $67 million. That gap is the moat. 2, launch cadence. In 2010, SpaceX launched twice. In 2025, they are on track for 167. They are now responsible over half of all rocket launches happening on Earth, stated on their IPO at a staggering amount of 99.5% success rate on Falcon 9. 3, reusability.
An aircraft journey would be very expensive if you had to throw the plane away every time.
SpaceX record booster has flown 29 times. They have now recertified Block 5 boosters to fly up to 40 times each. That ceiling went up in stages. 10, then 15, 20, and now 40. Cumulatively, they have reflown boosters over 580 times. Musk's own breakdown, the first stage is 60% of a cost rocket. Refurbishing it costs substantially less than half of building a new one. Net effect, every reflight knocks roughly 30% off the cost of a launch, and that compounds every time you fly the boosters again. Vertical, fast, reuse. 3 things. Wait, so why didn't anyone else do this for 50 years? Everyone was winning. The old rocket industry ran on something called cost-plus contracts. The government would say, build us a rocket and we will pay your costs, plus a profit margin on top. So the longer it took, the more they built. It's an upside-down incentive. They didn't go fast so that they would earn more. NASA's current SLS rocket, 13 years to first launch, $11.8 billion in development. Each launch costs around $2.4 billion. The safety critical software standard the whole industry runs on, it's called DO-178C, has been updated 3 times in 40 years. The standard itself updates every 2 decades. Meanwhile, suppliers were stacking up 70 to 80% markups on parts because what else can anyone do? Not build rockets. Slowness wasn't the bug, it was the business model. Okay, so here's where I was wrong. When I started this video, I thought the answer was Musk, genius founder, sheer force of will, the whole thingamajig. But the more I look, the more I think is actually wrong. Musk could leave tomorrow, the cadence would stay, because the cadence isn't a person, it's a culture that is engineered. Let's roll back to history. Musk takes his PayPal money, around $100 million, to start SpaceX in 2002. First principle thinking, ignore what rockets currently cost, ask what raw materials should cost, build from there. That was after the Russians spat on his car when he tried to buy used ICBMs. First 3 Falcon 1 launches, all failures, money almost gone. The 4th one, September 2008, it worked. December 2008, weeks from bankruptcy, NASA hands SpaceX a $1.6 billion contract for cargo runs to the ISS. The person who closed the contract, Gwynne Shotwell, still SpaceX's president. She is the reason the company is still here. If Musk is a disruptor, Shotwell is the diplomat. She is, in Time's word, the Musk translator, the one who sends the follow-up email after he sends the inflammatory tweet. She's the reason NASA, the FAA, foreign governments, and Fortune 500 customers keep doing business with a company whose CEO is constantly on the news. Musk strays? Shotwell smooths it over? That's the system. The lesson Musk implemented from those Falcon 1 failures has always been the operating system of the whole company. Failure is data, not defeat. And I'm gonna repeat it again. Failure is data, not defeat. They even gave it a name when a rocket blows up. They don't call it an explosion, they call it a rapid, unscheduled disassembly. Now, let's spice it up. Falcon 9 in production? Yes, 99.5% success rate, most reliable rocket in human history. Starship in tests, they blow it up on purpose. The trick isn't they accept failure, it's that they separate tests from production. In tests, they want it to fail, fast, cheap, full of data. By the time it reaches production, every failure mode has already been paid for. Look at the numbers. Raptor engine, the engine on Starship, they're running 10 plus hot fire tests a week at McGregor, Texas. They've built 3 full generation of engine in 5 years. Raptor 3 has 51% more thrust than Raptor 1 and 27 less mass. Between 2020 and 2022, SpaceX built around 15 Starship prototypes. Some flew, most blew up. 3 of them got scrapped mid-build because the team learned faster than they could finish them. Scrapping a $10 million rocket halfway through assembly because you already know what you would learn from it, that is not a bug, it's the entire system. Okay, so the playbook is public. Why can't Boeing or Lockheed just copy them? 4 reasons. Structural, none of them about talent. 1, as I've mentioned, their business model rewards slowness. It's an upside down incentive. 2, they can't manufacture it in-house. Boeing has hundreds of suppliers per vehicle. Retrofitting their factory to produce will cost a lot. 3, the certification is built for waterfall. Every aerospace company has to comply with safety standard designs around design, freeze, test, certify, fly. Continuous deployment doesn't fit. SpaceX worked with the FAA to invent new certification paths. Boeing inherited the old paths and never pushed to change. 4, the workforce is trained slow. And here's the kicker, Boeing actually tried. In 2020, Boeing hired Gina Hussein, SpaceX's former head of software, to fix their software organization. They took a fixed price contract for Starliner, the same kind SpaceX uses. 5 years later, Starliner is still not certified. Boeing has eaten over $1.85 billion in losses. You can't buy the playbook without buying the organization that wrote it. Now, worth zooming out for a second. SpaceX didn't just build a better rocket, they reset the pricing of the entire industry. Rocket Lab, Relativity Space, Stoke, these are companies that only exist because SpaceX proved iterative private space was possible. Starlink, SpaceX's own satellite network, now has over 7,000 satellites in orbit and is rebuilding the global internet infrastructure. One company changed the unit economics of leaving Earth. So SpaceX's real product isn't rockets, it's the feedback loop speed. Everyone else is selling waterfall in the world that needs iteration, which means the line that everyone repeats SpaceX disrupted aerospace is technically true, but the wrong reframe. The right one is SpaceX didn't beat NASA on engineering. They beat NASA's bureaucracy and iteration speed and changed the unit economics of leaving Earth. Which kind of begs the real question, if feedback loop speed is the moat, why can't our company do it? Not Boeing, not NASA, ours. What are the cost plus contract inside your own organization? The 30 vendor change orders, the waterfall certification. Because now at this point, space is solved. And the next frontier is the lunar economy, mining, manufacturing, infrastructure, the whole thing. And the real question is now, who copies the cadence of the moon? Do we have to wait for another 50 years for another disruptor to appear? Subscribe if you love stories about business, tech, and space. I would love to cover more of it, and tune in for more. Cheers.